The ancient legacy pillar of the world in philosophy and intellectual thought represents the profound contributions of ancient civilizations to the development of human reasoning, ethics, metaphysics, and the nature of existence. These intellectual traditions have shaped the foundations of Western and Eastern philosophy and continue to influence modern thought. Below are the key pillars of this ancient legacy. 1. Greek philosophy. The birth of rational thought. Pre-Socratic philosophers, circa 600 to 400 BCE, early Greek philosophers, known as the pre-Socratics, sought to understand the universe through rational inquiry rather than mythological explanations. Key figures include Thales of Miletus, who proposed that water is the fundamental substance of the universe; Heraclitus, who believed in the constant flux of the universe, famously stating, "You cannot step into the same river twice." Pythagoras, known for his contributions to mathematics and the idea that numbers and their relationships are the essence of all things. Socratic philosophy, circa 470 to 399 BCE. Socrates is often considered the father of Western philosophy, emphasizing the importance of questioning and dialogue through the Socratic method. His ideas centered on ethics, virtue, and the pursuit of knowledge through reason. Socrates influenced his student Plato, whose works would form the basis for much of Western thought. Plato, c. 428–348 BCE, Plato founded the Academy, the first institution of higher learning in the Western world. His writings explored the nature of reality, the ideal state, ethics, and the theory of knowledge. His theory of forms posited that the material world is an imperfect reflection of abstract, ideal forms. Plato's dialogues, such as the Republic, discussed justice, politics, and the philosopher king, laying the groundwork for political philosophy. Aristotle, 384–322 BCE. Aristotle, a student of Plato, made vast contributions to almost every field of knowledge, including logic, ethics, metaphysics, and biology. His work on logic, syllogism, formed the basis of formal reasoning. His Nicomachean Ethics examined the nature of happiness and virtue, arguing that the good life is achieved through the practice of virtues and finding the golden mean. Aristotle's ideas on politics, including the concept of a mixed government and his analysis of various constitutions, influenced political theory for centuries. 2. Eastern philosophy, harmony, balance, and the nature of existence. Confucianism, circa 551 to 479 BCE. Confucius focused on ethics, personal morality, and social harmony. His teachings, compiled in the Analects, emphasized the importance of proper conduct, family relationships, and respect for authority. The central concept of Ren, humaneness or benevolence, guides moral actions and promotes societal harmony, while the concept of Li, ritual propriety, emphasizes respect for tradition. Taoism, c. 600 BCE, Laozi, the founder of Taoism, proposed that the key to life is Wu Wei, non-action or effortless action, a concept emphasizing living in harmony with the Tao, the Wei, which represents the natural order of the universe. Zhuangzi expanded on these ideas, exploring the relativity of human experience and the importance of transcending rigid distinctions to find peace in simplicity and spontaneity. Buddhism, circa 6th century BCE, Siddhartha Gautama. The Buddha taught that suffering, dukkha, is an inherent part of life, and the path to liberation lies in overcoming desire and ignorance through the Noble Eightfold Path. Buddhist philosophy, with its focus on the impermanence of life and the importance of mindfulness, continues to influence global spiritual thought and practices. Indian philosophy, Vedanta and Jainism. Vedanta, particularly the teachings of Adi Shankaracharya, emphasizes the unity of the individual soul, Atman, and the ultimate reality, Brahman, advocating for spiritual realization through meditation and self-discipline. Jainism, founded by Mahavira, teaches the philosophy of non-violence, ahimsa, and emphasizes the liberation of the soul through right knowledge, right faith, and right conduct. Nyaya and Mimamsa, circa 2nd century BCE. Nyaya philosophy focused on logical reasoning and epistemology, laying the foundations for Indian formal logic. Mimamsa focused on the interpretation of sacred texts and rituals, establishing a methodical approach to understanding the Vedas and religious practices. 3. Ethics and morality. Stoicism, circa 3rd century BCE. Zeno of Citium founded Stoicism, which taught that virtue, living according to nature, and the cultivation of wisdom were essential to achieving happiness. Key Stoic figures such as Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius emphasized resilience, self-control, and rationality in the face of adversity. Stoicism influenced Western moral thought and continues to impact modern philosophy and psychology, particularly in the areas of emotional regulation and personal ethics. Epicureanism, circa 341 to 270 BCE. Epicurus promoted the pursuit of pleasure as the highest good, but he defined pleasure as the absence of pain and focused on simple, modest living and the cultivation of friendship. Epicureanism influenced later ideas about happiness and individual well-being and has been associated with materialistic or naturalistic views of the world. Cynicism, circa 4th century BCE. Diogenes of Sinope, the most famous Cynic philosopher, rejected social conventions, materialism, and luxury, advocating for a life lived in accordance with nature and self-sufficiency. Cynicism influenced later philosophical schools such as Stoicism, and has been recognized for its critique of societal values and materialism. 4. Logic and epistemology. The development of logic. Aristotle formalized the study of logic, particularly through the development of syllogism, a form of deductive reasoning. His work in Organon became the foundation for logic and scientific reasoning in the Western intellectual tradition. Indian logic, Nyaya, also made significant contributions, focusing on the nature of knowledge, perception, inference, and the processes by which humans acquire valid knowledge. Rhetoric and persuasion. The Greeks, particularly Aristotle and Isocrates, made foundational contributions to the study of rhetoric, how language and persuasion function in public and private life. Rhetorical theory would influence the development of political discourse, oratory, and later literary criticism. Empiricism and rationalism. Early forms of empiricism and rationalism were present in the works of Greek philosophers. Aristotle's empirical approach to science laid the groundwork for later scientific methods based on observation and experimentation. The rationalist approach, seen in the work of figures like Pythagoras and Plato, focused on the idea that reason and mathematics were the keys to understanding the cosmos. 5. Political philosophy and governance. Plato's ideal state. Plato's Republic outlined his vision for an ideal state governed by philosopher kings who would rule with wisdom and justice. His work set the stage for later discussions on political theory, ethics, and justice. Aristotle's Politics. Aristotle, in his Politics, categorized different forms of government, monarchy, aristocracy, and polity, and analyzed their strengths and weaknesses. His concept of the best form of government, a balanced polity, influenced later democratic and republican thought. Cicero, 106–43 BCE. Cicero, a Roman statesman and philosopher, contributed to the development of political philosophy by synthesizing Greek thought with Roman law and republican ideals. He emphasized the importance of natural law and justice in the political sphere. 6. The influence on later intellectual movements. The philosophical traditions of ancient Greece, India, China, and the Middle East were integrated and expanded during the Islamic Golden Age, 8th–14th centuries, where scholars translated and preserved Greek texts, blending them with their own intellectual traditions. The Renaissance, 14th–17th centuries, saw a revival of ancient Greek and Roman philosophical ideas, which directly influenced the development of modern Western philosophy, science, and politics. Enlightenment thinkers such as John Locke, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and Immanuel Kant were inspired by ancient philosophical ideas, particularly those concerning ethics, governance, and the nature of human rights. The ancient pillars of philosophy and intellectual thought established the intellectual foundations for virtually all branches of modern knowledge, from metaphysics and ethics to logic, politics, and epistemology. The contributions of ancient philosophers continue to shape how we think about reality, knowledge, morality, and society.